What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Cadillac XT6 Sport. Huge thank you to Mike.Dwyer over here at More Cadillac in Chantilly, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular XT6 or any Cadillac product at or below MSRP, then I'll be sure to have Mike and More Cadillac's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. First things first, I want to apologize in advance for any wind noise in today's video. In the past hour or so, it's gotten pretty gusty. I have a windsock on the camera, so I am trying my best, but I do apologize for any wind noise. But just like usual, first, I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Cadillac XT6 Sport, and this particular one has been painted in the optional $625 Midnight Sky Metallic. I wanted to preface this video by saying for 2024, the XT6 remains relatively unchanged other than the addition of two new colors, Emerald Lake Metallic, and like we have here today, Midnight Sky Metallic. But this one being the Sport, as standard, you get LED headlights with IntelliBeam as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and front cornering lights. But taking a step to the left, this is what the front end of the Sport looks like. So you do get a gloss black mesh grille with your upper trim being gloss black and the lower trim being satin chrome. You also have your Cadillac logo located at the center of your grille. And just at the bottom of your Cadillac logo, you may notice that this has a forward-facing camera, and that is because this one's been optioned with the $2,350 technology package, which gives you that forward-facing camera that works with your 360-degree view camera system. You also get 6 forward-facing sensors here on the front end as standard, and then coming down just a little bit more, you get gloss black mesh lower and outer grills, except you can see the mesh is filled in here. The lower grill mesh is open, and then you also get this gloss black trim piece that runs across pretty much the entire front bumper. And last but not least, you also get that satin chrome front chin. I also wanted to mention that you get 6.7 inches of ground clearance with the Sport. And then coming around the side, you get an LED marker light here as well as body color wheel arch moldings. I'm going to try to hide behind the vehicle here away from the wind and tell you that with the Sport, you get a performance suspension as well as Sport Control all-wheel drive and the 6-piston Brembo front brakes with the red calipers. And then taking a step back, here are the wheels you get with the Sport, and they are 20-inch 12-spoke diamond cut with dark Android pocket wheels. And these wheels are wrapped in 235/55 Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tires. I will give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires here real quick. And then I also want to let you know that there are 2 other wheel options if you are not a fan of the standard Sport wheels. And then taking a step back, I do apologize kind of about the lighting. It's either the lighting's not great or the wind noise is blowing in that direction where I got to park the car this way, so there's less wind noise. Anyways, I also wanted to point out that you get your chrome Cadillac crests on your front 2 fenders. You also get rain sensing wipers as standard. And then working my way into the side view mirrors, you get body color mirror caps with integrated turn signals. And as standard, these side view mirrors are heated, power folding. The driver's side mirror is auto dimming. You also get memory function, so not only is the vehicle going to memorize your seat and your steering wheel settings, it is also going to memorize your outer mirror settings, which is definitely very nice. And then you get your blind spot monitoring on the outer left-hand side of your driver's side mirror and on the outer right-hand side of your passenger side mirror. And as mentioned a little bit ago in the video, this one's been optioned with the technology package, which gives you the 360-degree view camera system, and the camera on the bottom of your side view mirrors. Both cameras work with your 360-degree view camera system. But let's do a little side profile shot of this thing. I wanted to point out that at the top of your roof line, you get the gloss black roof rails. You also get the gloss black window trim. You get body color door handles with keyless access, and the keyless access function is on all 4 of your door handles, that like satin chrome button. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get this XT6 satin chrome door trim, which I'll give you a closer view. You can see it says XT6 on your front 2 doors, and then that satin chrome trim leads into the rear 2 doors. You also get a capless filler neck on the driver's side of the vehicle, and if you open it up, that's what it looks like. An 87 octane will do you just fine. Let me give you a rear 3/4 shot of this thing. I wanted to point out that Up top here, you get your body color shark fin antenna. You also get your body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light. Again, this one being optioned with the technology package. You can see this camera up in here. That camera works with your rear view camera mirror, which I'm showing you on screen how that works. And then you also get a rear wiper up here that hides rather than it being mounted about right there. You also get a rear window defroster, and LED taillights come standard with the Sport, which is definitely nice. Actually, it comes standard. LED taillights come standard with all the XT6 trim levels. And then here's a little booty shot. You can see you get your satin chrome badging, some satin chrome trim that nearly goes across the entire lift gate. Then you get your Cadillac emblem. Coming down here, you have your backup camera, and then just to the right of the backup camera, you'll feel a little pad, and if you press on that pad, your power lift gate will open up. However, I did want to mention that with this vehicle as standard, you get a hands-free power lift gate. And then with the third row seats up, you really don't get that much storage space. I'd say you probably get about 15 inches of storage space from the trunk opening to the seat back of your third row seats. Now, speaking of the third row seats, these are power folding up and down third row seats. So you can see right here, these two functions. If you hold down on them, the third row seats will drop, but you can also raise the third row seats by pressing the other two buttons. You can do the same with the second row seats with these functions here. However, you can only drop the second row seats. You cannot raise the second row seats. And then you also get a little storage cubby here on the driver's side of the trunk. I'd say it's about 8 to 10 inches of depth in that storage cubby. And right now it's just holding a little bit of trash. And then also on the driver's side of the trunk, you get a 12-volt power outlet. And then lifting this up right here, you get a little bit of storage space. I'd say it's about a foot of depth back there, and probably about 5 or 6 inches of depth here. And you under here could set your jumper cables, you could set maybe some gloves, stuff like that. And then your fuse box looks like it's underneath here as well. And really that's kind of about it for what we got going on in the trunk area. However, you get an LED floodlight there. You also get an LED floodlight there, which is definitely very nice. And if you press on this button, the power lift gate will begin to close. And we're gonna finish things off here at the back end while that is closing. So I did want to mention, as standard, you get another 6 parking sensors back here. You also get a gloss black rear valance, which surrounds your dual exhaust system. And the max tow capacity of the XT6 with the V6 is 4,000 pounds. And that kind of about does it for the exterior of the Sport. One thing that's pretty cool about this color is, like, right here, it looks like it's like that Nardo gray type of color. But if you come into the direct sunlight and you can see the metallic flake, that is where you get a little bit of purple. So it's a very cool color. I really, really like this color. I suggest you go out and, go to your Cadillac dealership, take a look at this color, because this is a beautiful color. And honestly, if I was speccing out like a Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, I would probably choose this color because it is absolutely beautiful in the direct sunlight. But enough blabbering about that. Let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals the 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6 that makes 310 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 6.4 seconds. And if you are wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 18 miles per gallon in the city, 25 miles per gallon on the highway for 21 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. I did want to mention that if you're opting for the Sport, you can only get the Sport in all-wheel drive. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. It looks like I had a little bit of crazy hair. So if you're enjoying the video, if you've learned anything from the video, please just take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me get closer to my dreams. But anyways, with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, as mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, press this button right here, and it will unlock. You can press that very same button again and it will lock right back up. And then this is what the key fob looks like. It's mostly satin black. And then going over the functions, you have your unlock and your lock functions, your remote start function, your power liftgate function, and your panic function. And if you wanted to remote start the vehicle, you have to lock it first, press and hold on this button, and it'll fire up. And that is what it sounds like being fired up from the exterior's perspective. Now, this particular Sport has been optioned with the Cirrus with jet black accent interior. That is what it looks like, and we're going to start with the driver's side door panel. So taking a look at the door panel, you get some vinyl wrapping up top here. You get some carbon fiber trim that you do get with the Sport. Then you get some satin chrome trim. You can see that beautiful Bose speaker surround. That is because the Sport comes standard with a 14 speaker Bose Performance Series sound system. You have your unlock and your lock functions, 2 memory seat adjustment settings, your power side view mirror controls. This button is going to power fold in or out your side view mirrors. Then that button right there is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. You get automatic up and down windows in the front, but you only get automatic down windows in the back. You get a nicely padded armrest with some stitching, a little bit of storage space down in there. See if you can't pick that up on camera. Then this button is to open and or close your power liftgate, and you can either open it up all the way to max, you can open it up 3/4 of the way, or you can turn the power liftgate off. You also get a Bose speaker down here, obviously, but it has the Bose marking on it. Then you get a brushed aluminum door sill. This is what your front seats look like. So as standard, you get 8-way power front seats with 2-way power lumbar, and also as standard, these front seats are heated and ventilated. But stepping on into the interior, let's hear what this thing sounds like when you close the door. Now, let's get access into the entire screen area here. And basically what I'm gonna do is walk you throughout the entire interior. I apologize about that noise there. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start over here and I'm gonna walk you throughout the entire interior. So starting with this button, this is to engage or disengage your parking brake. Then to the right of that, you have this scroll knob to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons, excuse me. And then to the right of that, you have your head-up display control. So this one being optioned with the $2,350 technology package, you get the head-up display. And these controls here, this is basically to move the head-up display up or down. This is to adjust the different information on the head-up display. So right now I can see the tachometer, the digital speedometer readout, and the transmission status stuff right about there. And then if I click on that, it's basically just showing me now my digital speedometer readout. And yeah, I guess that's just about it between those two things here. I'm gonna go into this, continue, and now I'll get full access into everything. And then all the way to the right, that is to brighten and or dim the head-up display. And then down here, as standard with the Sport, you get a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel, meaning you can bring the steering wheel towards you. You can push the steering wheel away from you. And the steering wheel also moves up and down. By the way, this is also supported with your memory seat adjustment settings. It will memorize your steering wheel, which is definitely nice. But now, let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. And not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your headlight control stock. So right now that is headlights automatic, that is parking lights on, all the way up is headlights in the always on position. And then all the way over here, if you click on that, that is going to turn your IntelliBeam on or off. Your IntelliBeam is or are your automatic high beams. And then zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel. The steering wheel is also heated, and just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to it. That is what the horn sounds like on the XT6. And when you get the Sport, you also get the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, downshift on the left, upshift on the right. There are like a satin chrome type of metal. Hear that? I just did a video with an Escalade Sport Platinum, and that had like plastic, satin black plastic paddle shifters, whereas the XT6 Sport has the paddle shifters that the Escalade should have. But anyways, on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, with the $1,300 driver assistance package, you get adaptive cruise control. So these, and that are all for your adaptive cruise control system. This right here is to turn your heated steering wheel on or off. When that is illuminated in amber, then the heated steering wheel is on. When it is not, obviously the heated steering wheel is not on. And then coming down just a little bit more, that right there is to hang up on a phone call. This is to speak to the vehicle, and let's say you're connected to your Apple CarPlay. If you press and hold on that for a little bit longer than normal, Siri will pop up on your infotainment system. And then also with the Sport, you get some more carbon fiber trim here on your steering wheel. And as mentioned on the exterior, you do get rain sensing wipers, and where it says auto, if you set it to that, I'm not sure how well that's going to pick up, right about there, that is where the rain sensing wipers basically will sense how much rain is raining. And let's say it's raining really hard, the wipers are going to wipe as fast as they can. Let's say it's just drizzling a little bit, they're going to wipe slow. That is what the rain sensing wipers are. And then moving on into our gauge cluster, again, this one being optioned with the $2,350 technology package. You do get the 8-inch digital gauge cluster, which is at the center of this area here. But on the left-hand side, you have your tachometer. I'm gonna try to back up a little bit and get you kind of a better view of the gauge cluster. On the left-hand side, you have your tachometer as well as your fuel gauge. And on the right-hand side, you have your analog speedometer as well as your coolant temperature gauge. And then again, at the center with the tech pack, you get the digital cluster. So moving into the digital cluster, you can see, actually I kind of jumped the gun a little bit because on this side of the steering wheel, sorry, I'm going backtrack. I'll get into that. Sorry, I apologize about this. But anyways, that is to go forwards on a track. That is to go backwards on a track. These two buttons as well as that scroll knob are to control that screen at the center. Then you have your volume controls down here. But anyways, moving back into our gauge cluster. I apologize about that. You can see that is 2-wheel drive. That's letting me know like my, all-wheel drive status. Right now I'm in front-wheel drive. That is my speed limit sign, digital speedometer readout. You got the compass there, the current time. This is my trip 1 information. And then down here, I got my fuel range. That is my odometer. That is my transmission status stuff. And to scroll down throughout this stuff, I have this scroll knob here. So scrolling down, you can see trip 2, my fuel range, my oil life, tire pressure stuff, air filter life, fuel economy, blank page, info page options. And if I click here to the right, it's gonna bring me into my audio stuff. Then it's gonna bring me into my nav stuff. Then I got my phone stuff, and then I have my different settings. So you go into display here and you can select what you want to see when you scroll throughout what I just showed you. Then you get your speed warning. You can go into your head-up display. You can display the speed limit sign, which is basically what that is there. And then you can also adjust the rotation of it like this. So those are some other things you can do on that screen. I kind of do like this screen, honestly, because it's a bigger thing. You can see more throughout it, whereas otherwise it would just be like a screen, I believe, up top there, or I think it's a screen actually down here. I apologize. The XT5 is the screen up top there. The other one is, or this one is the screen down here. But then you get a vinyl wrapped dash. You get your fancy speaker up here on your A-pillar, fancy speaker over there on the other A-pillar. You get 2 HVAC vents, and then coming down just a little bit, as standard with this thing, you get an 8-inch infotainment system with built-in navigation and wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. Do want to go through the controls on the sides of the screen first. So this is going to turn your parking sensors, both front and rear, on or off. So instead of like, the safety alert seat kind of vibrating the seat, it's not going to do that if you're getting too close to an object. So that is when you turn that off. And then below that, this one being optioned with the technology package, you get the automatic parking assistant. So that is basically going to be able to pull you into a parallel or a perpendicular parking spot. And then that is to turn your automatic stop start system on or off. And then over here, you have your hazard button. And then moving into this screen here, you can see if I swipe over to here, this is my home screen. So you can see nav stuff here, audio stuff there. This is the secondary screen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You do get a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot. So if you have kids, you're on a road trip, your kids can connect to the vehicle, connect their iPads to the vehicle, and the vehicle basically has its own Wi-Fi. And then coming over to this side, you can pop up your 360 cam. The 360 cam comes with the technology package. So that is what that looks like. You get your home button right here. So if I click on that, it's gonna bring me back into this home screen. Then you can pop up your climate control stuff. This vehicle, being a 3-row SUV, you do get a tri-zone climate control system. So this is for the front, this is for the rear, and you also get a built-in air ionizer, which is basically like an interior air purifier. And then also with the technology package, you get the surround view recorder. But anyways, down here, you have some more shortcuts to go into home, audio, phone, nav, or your climate stuff. And then you have your ambient exterior temperature and the current time. And then this button right here is to mute the audio system. And that's kind of about it for the infotainment system, other than this last button right here, basically to turn your lane keeping system on or off. Push button, start button here. Carbon fiber trim throughout with the Sport. And as mentioned a little bit ago, as standard, you get heated and ventilated front seats. Both get 3 levels of adjustability right there. One thing I have to say about this vehicle is I think it's about time for a refresh. This stuff's starting to kind of look a little bit old. So I think a refresh, needs to come, because this was, looked good like 5 years ago, but it's time for a refresh. You know, if you take a look at the XT4, the Escalade, the Lyric, they all have that new fancy screen, and I think it looks great, it works great, and I love how they still retained having the physical climate controls with those newly refreshed vehicles. So if they can do that with this, it's going to be a real winner. But coming back over to here, you have your physical climate controls. You get a little bit of storage space down in here. You could set your key fob if you wanted to. Then you have your transmission thing right here. So if you wanted to go into reverse, you'd push forward. If you wanted to go into drive, you'd pull backwards. And if you wanted to go into manual mode while you're in drive, you pull back one more time. That M right there will illuminate, and now you can control the transmission with these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. And then push P to go back into park. Coming over to here, this is one of the big reasons I really like Cadillac's infotainment system, is that basically this scroll knob, I'm going to twist it to the right, and you can control what you got going on up there. And all you got to do to select something is basically just click down on this, and it's going to bring you into what you want to see. So very, very easy to use here. And let's say I wanted to jump down to this side of the screen. All I would have to do is apply a little bit of pressure from the top towards the bottom, and now I can control what I got going on there. So it makes it very easy to control the screen while you're driving with these controls down here. And then you have your different shortcuts into like your music, your navigation stuff, your phone stuff, your back button. And then if you wanted to go back on a track, you'd click that. Forward on track, you click that, and then this is your volume control knob here. So coming over just a little bit to the right, you have your 2 cup holders. If you didn't want to see your cup holders, you could push forward on that, and then this will close right back off. It looks make it look a little bit simpler, let's say. And then this is to turn your traction control system on or off. And then to the right of that, you have your drive mode selector. So if I click on that, you have 4 different drive modes. You have Tour, all-wheel drive, Sport, and off-road. Tour mode is basically front-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is going to put you into all-wheel drive. Sport mode is still in all-wheel drive, but it's kind of going to do like more torque vectoring, and you know, it's basically make the all-wheel drive system behave a little bit sportier, make the transmission behave a little bit sportier, be more a little rev happy. So that is what you do. I like to leave it in Tour when going around town. And then down here, you get a wireless charging pad. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is one of the bigger phones on the market, and it still will fit in the wireless charging pad. And once your phone is charging in the wireless charging pad, you can take a look at the phone here on the screen. You get that green lightning bolt letting you know that the wireless charging pad is charging your phone. Then you get a nicely padded armrest that is leather wrapped. And opening this up back in here, you get a USB-A port, a USB-C port. You get this divider here, and then down in there, I'd say you probably get about 8 inches of depth and about 5 inches from like this way to this way. So decent amount of storage space down in there, all things considered. Then one thing that is nice about this thing is that you do get a lockable lower glove box, which is definitely nice to see. And if you open this thing up, you get a very large glove box. You can see right now your owner's manual is in there. So in addition to your owner's manual, you can fit your napkins, your straws, your snacks, you know, the essentials of what you put in a glove box. At least that's what I put in my glove box. And then down here on the passenger side, you can see you get a 12-volt power outlet back in there. I apologize if the view's not the greatest, but you get a little bit of storage space down underneath there, and I can reach through from the driver's side to this side. So a little bit of storage space, definitely nice. And you can see from here, you can see I'm on the driver's side now. It's basically pass-through storage space to the passenger side. So definitely nice. And then again, with the technology package, this is the rear view camera mirror I was talking about when we were on the exterior. I pointed out the camera for this system. So this is what the system looks like. And let's say you really like the spec of this XT6, but you're like, oh man, I really don't like a rear view camera mirror. Well, you're in luck, because if you flip this forward, now this is just going to behave like a regular auto dimming rear view mirror would. However, I personally really like the rear view camera mirror because it rids you of your blind spots. So not only do you have the blind spot monitoring system, you also have this to help rid you of your blind spots, and it's very adjustable. So if I click this, you can adjust the brightness of it with these buttons here. You can brighten it, you can dim it. And then if I go over to here, you can adjust the zoom. So I can zoom out, I can zoom in. You get 3 levels of adjustability there. If I click this, now I can go down, I can go up, and basically make it exactly how I want it to be. So I'd have it about like right there. Just very, very interchangeable. You know, you can make this exactly how you want it to be. So I definitely like that. And then coming up to here, you have your OnStar stuff. This is going to let you know if your passenger airbag is on or off. This is your instant dome light on button for all the interior dome lights. Then you can see this where it says off. Basically, if I open up the doors now, the interior lights will turn on. However, if I click this and that lights up in amber, now when I open up the interior doors, the interior lights will not turn on. And then you get your universal garage door opener right here. You can open up 3 garage bays. This is basically like, let's say you turn that on, right? If somebody, like, if you leave your windows down and somebody reaches into your vehicle, it will sense it and it's basically going to turn the alarm on. And then you also do get a power sliding panoramic roof. So this is for the panoramic roof shade. You can see the roof goes from about here all the way to there, and that is your panoramic roof. And this piece from here opens and it slides and tilts. So if you wanted to tilt it, you'd push right here and it's tilted. Push one more time and the sunroof will slide open. So it tilts and slides, and then you also have that power shade. And then taking a look at the visor, you get a little spot. You can set any small little paper product, open this thing up, you get a vanity mirror and 2 vanity lights. And then this thing does slide forwards and backwards for when the sun is in those awkward positions. And then up top here, you get your OPU panel and your Bluetooth mic pickup for your Bluetooth phone. I'm actually gonna leave this thing open because the sun is in one of those positions now, and now it's just helping me not have that sun directly in my eyes, which was kind of annoying the first 15 minutes of this part of the video. But same thing on that side. You get another OPU panel on the front passenger side. But now that's kind of about it. I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen and you can take a look at all the different options that this vehicle has. This one has the $800 6-passenger seating, so you get the captain's chairs there in the second row, and you can take a look at everything else you get as standard or what you get optional. But I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 XT6 Sport is spec'd is $67,200. And I think for that money, you get a pretty nice vehicle. I believe this one is selling under MSRP. I just don't know by how much. I know you can get some really good deals on XT6s right now. And while they do look, kind of outdated here at the front end, they're still very usable. They don't look extremely outdated. And they just work very well. The infotainment system is very intuitive. It's very easy to use. And just this entire cockpit is very easy to use, which is something that I personally appreciate, in a vehicle. I don't like to overcomplicate things when it comes to vehicles, which some manufacturers seem to be doing more of nowadays, which I don't quite get. But I do want to show you what we got going on in the rear seats. You can see the door kind of blew open there. But take a look at that paint. You see that in the direct sunlight? See that flake? Looks very purple. I love this color. And then again, as mentioned at the front, you get automatic down windows here at the rear, but you do not get automatic up windows, and the windows do go all the way down. You also get some more carbon fiber trim. You get the fancy speaker surround, a padded armrest, a spot you could set a water bottle and a speaker. You also get a brushed aluminum Cadillac door sill back here. And again, you get the 6-passenger seating for $800. So you get the captain's chairs here in the second row. And if you wanted to have easy access to the third row, you'd pull up on this, and then that gives you that easy access right there into the third row. And you can power fold up or down the third row from right here, as you can see. So that's down, then you just push right back up. So just very, very easy to do with those buttons right there. But slide that back into position, step into these second row seats. And then also, if you pull up on this lever right here, you can recline your second row seats. So that is cool. And then up top here, you get your Bluetooth mic pickup, an OPU panel, a spot you can set your dry cleaning, a dome light, and an HVAC vent. Down here, you get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. Heated outboard second row seats are standard, and they get 3 levels of adjustability. Again, as mentioned earlier in the video, you do get a tri-zone climate control system. So this is the climate control for the second and the third row passengers. And then down here, you get a USB-A port, you get a USB-C port, and then you open this thing up, you get 2 cup holders and a little bit of storage space that comes there out of that center console, which is also nice. You also do get a armrest here, and these seats themselves in the second row are very, very comfortable. Now let's step on into the third row. I just did an Escalade, so there's definitely less room here in the XT6 in the second and the third row as compared to the Escalade, but that's to be expected. And then back here in the third row, you get a USB-C port on that side, a USB-C port on this side. You get a cup holder, another cup holder, And you can split the difference. So if you don't feel like driving around an Escalade, your family will still be comfortable. If you're a family of, you know, 4 kids, you know, obviously they're going to be more comfortable in an Escalade, but they're still going to be comfortable in this, and you're going to be saving about, what's this, 67? You're going to be saving about 40 grand. Actually, maybe a little bit more than 40 grand if you get this over the Escalade. But dome light back here, an HVAC vent, and you get the same stuff on that side. But that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in the interior. So, you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. Okay, so at this point, I've driven a few XT6s, but I've never driven a Sport, I don't believe. But I will say that comparing this, I did a premium luxury the last time I did an XT6. With the Brembo, 6-piston Brembos on the front, that makes a massive, massive difference in slowing this thing down or bringing this thing to a stop. I mean, it really makes a huge difference, and that would be a massive thing that would sway me into the Sport if I test drove both, you know, back to back. There is a massive difference between the brake feel and the brake bite between the Sport and the premium luxury due to those massive, for this kind of vehicle, 6-piston Brembo brake calipers. So this thing is just I really like the way that this looks. You know, Cadillac in the recent years has done a fantastic job, in my personal opinion, with their design language. I think their vehicles now look awesome. You know, even the new CT5, I love the way that the Escalade looks. I think the new the XT4 looks awesome. They got to redesign the XT5, but supposedly they're going to be killing that off for the 2025 model year, which in my opinion, I think is a mistake. It is a mid-size SUV. That's the best-selling vehicle in the United States, or best-selling segment in the United States. So I think it's kind of a mistake for Cadillac to get rid of the XT5, but here's a nice little acceleration. This thing is quick. Like, it is properly quick. Is it like super fast? I wouldn't say it's super fast, but I will say that it is definitely quick. Like, you know, especially if you put it into sport mode and the throttle response sharpens up, it is like respectably quick. That was a CTS V2. It is respectably quick. Like, it for real is going to give you the acceleration that you want, but it's not going to be like insane acceleration. But I think it might surprise you with its acceleration, because it really has really good getup, in my personal opinion, especially for, you know, a 3-row SUV. So this thing is very comfortable, and it's a great alternative to the Escalade, because the Escalade's just, you know, it's a big behemoth. You know, it's huge. But if that's like what you're going for, because you got 4 kids and they've got a bunch of stuff, you got to take one to soccer practice, you got to take one to baseball practice, the Escalade's really good for that, because it can carry those people, and then it can also carry their stuff. So this, you know, it's still going to carry those people, and it can still carry the stuff, but it's not going to be as comfortable for everybody, because there's less cargo room in this, obviously, than the Escalade. But again, you're going to spend another, like, what's it, 77, 87, 97, 107, like $50,000 more, $53,000 more, $56,000 more on the Escalade Sport Platinum I just did a video with, which you can get 2 cars for the price of the Escalade. You can get this, and you can get a $50,000 car. So, you know, if you got it, the Escalade's the way to go. But if you're on a budget, and $70,000, I can't believe I'm saying if you're on a budget, but still, you know, even $120,000 like the Escalade, you could still be on a budget of $125,000. But anyways, what I'm saying is, this is a good vehicle because it's not too big, so it's not like a pain in the rear end to park. It's also comfortable. It cruises well. It's going to get better fuel economy because it's got a V6, and that is what I also like, is that this thing's just got the tried and true V6. It doesn't have any turbos, so you don't have to worry about that. So I like, nowadays, am actually a fan of naturally aspirated engines, because there's just less to worry about, less to go wrong. And I think NA motors really nowadays are, you know, really good to have, because it seems like turbo motors are, you know, they're good, but, you know, you gotta if you want to do it the right way, after you go for a drive, really you're supposed to let the car cool down and let it run after you get out of it. But I know most people don't do that, and that's gonna, you know, shorten the length of that engine's life. Whereas an NA motor, you can hop in it and pretty much get going right away, and when you stop driving, you can turn it off and get out. But I'm gonna let all this traffic go through, and I'll pick up with you once I get through all this traffic. All right, we pretty much navigated through the traffic, and while I was sitting in traffic, I got to mess with the audio system a little bit, and this Bose sound system is fantastic. And that's something that I've always noticed with Bose sound systems, is that they're just spot on, really. You know what I mean? They've got the bass, they've got the clarity, and they're really good. You know what I mean? Like, you could really jam out to some music with this thing. This sound system is great. So if you're in the market for a vehicle, and you know, some people, like, at least for me, you know, a sound system can make or break a vehicle. And you know, this sound system would make the vehicle for me. You know what I mean? It's that good. It's just a great sound system, and Bose never really disappoints. I don't know if I've ever been in a vehicle where Bose has put their name on a sound system and it's been bad. You know, there could be a vehicle that I have not been in, but my mom has a 2020 Mazda Miata, and it's got, like, I don't even know how many speakers are in it, but not very many, but it's got a Bose sound system, and it is one of the best sounding sound systems I've literally ever heard. And I'm not even making this up, like, for real, for real. And now let's go around this turn. Handling test. That's one thing. Another thing about GM vehicles, doesn't matter if it's a Chevy, GMC, or a Cadillac, is that they really do a great job with their suspensions, making it, you know, ride good. Maybe not like, you know, a cloud, but there's a little bit of firmness to it, but they make them handle extremely well for what they are. You know what I mean? I was just in an Escalade, and the Escalade is just an amazing handling vehicle for what it is. I mean, it truly is. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. And this is kind of like the same thing. You know, it's a very good handler, and I think you would be very surprised at how well this thing handles, how solid it feels when you drive it. You know, my family, we had a 2013 Cadillac SRX, and that thing was solid as a rock. One of, like, the best handling SUVs I've ever driven. And I'm not the only one who said that. My dad said the same thing. He felt the same way, and I didn't even mention it to him. And he told me, and I'm like, yes, I know, right? So Cadillac does a fantastic job with their suspensions. They handle great, they drive great, they're just fantastic suspensions, really, overall. So this thing's got a great sounding sound system. It's well insulated from the outside world. I know we're not going super fast, but take a listen to what it sounds like cruising at about 45. About 50. And keep in mind, it is a very windy day. So that's another thing about Cadillacs, is that they are very well insulated from the outside world. Especially, you know, the more you spend with a Cadillac, the more insulated they're going to be, the more premium they're going to be. And you know, this is no different. So very quiet. It drives great on the highway. It drives great around town, and it's comfortable. You know what I mean? So if that's what, you know, all those things check all of your boxes, you know, I'm not saying go out and just buy one right away, but I would suggest just go out and take a test drive with one, play around with the infotainment system, and just sit in every seat, you know, get to know it and see if it is a good fit for you and your family, or if it's just for you, see if it's a good fit for you. So, you know, I can tell you my opinions on it, and you know, things that I noticed, but you know, my opinions may be different from your opinions. You know, that everything in life is really subjective when it comes down to that kind of stuff, and I could say I like it, but you could totally hate it. So I suggest you go out and take a test drive in one, sit in one, and that'll really, you know, get you a immersive feel and see if it is the right vehicle for you. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from the video, please take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. Those three things look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that's what helps me grow, and that helps me get, you know, one step closer to my dreams each and every day. So I'd appreciate it if you do those things. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.